Hello everyone, welcome to Day 4 Topics SQL Advanced Queries. And come to the topics: classes, aggregates, joins, subqueries, and practice. First slide is SQL classes. SQL classes are built-in functions that define specific condition within an SQL statement to retrieve, update, or manipulate data from a database. This class work alongside select, update, delete, and inside queries to refine results and ensure effective data handling. Key functions of SQL classes: filter and retrieve specific records from a database. Group data used on certain attributes. Short queries result in ascending order or descending order. Limit the number of records displayed in a query's result. SQL classes are internal to writing optimized queries that return price result without scanning unnecessary data. Types of SQL classes. There are four types. First one is where, second one is order by, third one is group by, fourth one is having. First one is where. Where are used to filter records that meet specific conditions, such as retrieve employees with a salary greater than 15,000. Second one, order by. Helps in sorting the retrieved data in ascending or descending order, such as sorting students based on their marks. Third one is group by. Used to group records with identical values, often combined with aggregate functions like sum or count. From examples, calculating total sales per region. Fourth one is having. Applies conditions on group data, such as filtering groups where the total salary executed is called having. And next slide is aggregate functions. SQL aggregate functions are used to perform calculations on a set of rows and return a single value. These functions are particularly useful when you need to summarize the analysis or group large datasets in SQL database. They are often used within group by classes in SQL to summarize data from each group. Commonly used generative functions. Generative functions are include count or sum or average, mean and max. Is called generative functions. In these attributes will be explained most commonly used SQL aggregate function, their syntax, practical example, and to make the best use of them in your queries. Some key feature of SQL aggregate functions. There are four types. First one is operator or groups of rows. Second one is ignore nulls. Third one is used with group by. Fourth one is can be combined with other SQL classes. First one is operator on group of rows. They work on a set of rows and return a single value. Second one is ignore nulls. Most aggregate functions ignore null values except from count. Third one is used with group by. To perform calculations on group data, you are used aggregate functions with group by. can be combined with other SQL classes. Aggregate functions can be used alongside having order by and other SQL classes to filter or sort elements. And commonly used SQL or aggregate functions. Below are the most sequentially used aggregate functions in SQL. Therefore, aggregate functions are four types: sum, count, average, max or min. First one is sum. The sum function calculated the total sum of numeric column. Sum column name returns the total sum of all null values in a column. Second one is count. The count function returns the number of rows that match a given condition are present in a column. Count all rows. Count column name counts non-null values in the specific column. Count distinct column counts unique null values in the column. Third one is average. The average function calculates the average of numeric column. It divides the sum of the column by the number of null value rows. Average returns the average of the null values in the rows is called average. Fourth one is max or mean. The mean and max functions returns the smallest and largest values represented from a column. Mean are represented the minimum values. Max are represented the maximum value. Often used with group by from summaries. And next slide is SQL joins. SQL joins are classed in used to query and access data from multiple tables by establishing logical relationship between them. It can access data from multiple tables using common key values shared across different tables. It's called SQL joins. SQL joins are four types. First one is inner join, second one is left join, third one is right join, fourth one is full join. First one is inner join. Inner joins returns only the rows where there is a match in both tables is called inner join. Second one is left join. Returns all rows from the left table and the matched rows from the right table. If there no match, no values are turned from the column from the right table is called left join. Third one is right join. Returns all rows from the right table and the matched rows from the left table. There's no match. Null values are turned the column from the left table is called right join. Next one is full join. Returns all rows when there is a make in one of the tables. If there is no match, null values are written from column from the table without a match. And next one is subqueries or nested queries. In database management system, subqueries also known as nested queries or inner queries or queries within the another queries. They act as building blocks, allowing from complex data and manipulation by using the results of one query as part of another queries. Some key concept of subqueries. There are four. First one is subqueries, second one is outer queries, third one is nested queries, fourth one is inner queries. And first one is subqueries. A query enclosed within parentheses that is within another query is called subqueries. Second one is outer queries. The main query that contains the subquery is called outer query. Third one is nested query. Another term from the subqueries is called nested query. Fourth one is inner query. Another terms of subqueries is called inner queries. First one is subqueries. The proved SQL expert creates two tables, customers and orders, and populates them with sample data. The orders table lacks a foreign key to result order with customers. This can lead to difficulty in linking orders to specific customers and query related information. Subqueries are types. Scalar, row, table subqueries. First one is scalar. A scalar subquery is a subquery that returns a single value. This is the simplest form of subqueries and can be used in most places in irritable and single column value invalid. The database, the data type, length and character set and location are all taken from the return by the subqueries. Second one is row. The row in database management system rows subqueries are subqueries that return a single row contains multiple columns. They are used when the outer queries logic depends on multiple values from a single row in another table or query. Subqueries are also known as nested or inner queries within another SQL queries. They can be used in variable parts of a SQL statement, such as a select, from, where, having, and insert statements to perform complex operators and to retrieve database on returns of another queries. Can be used in select, form, where, etc. First one is select. Subqueries in select are used to return a single aggregate value. This can be useful since as you really you cannot include on aggregate values in a grouped SQL queries. Subgroups in select are one way to get around that. From class can be used to specify a subqueries expressions in a SQL. The relation provided by the subqueries is then used as a new relation on which the order querying applied. Subqueries in the from class are supported by most of the SQL implementation. The relation variables from the relations in most class cannot be used in the subqueries in the form of class, where SQL commands can be used to search the database and to the another functions like creating tables, adding data to tables, modify data, and dropping tables. Next one is practice and guidelines. Write SQL with multiple and or conditions. Joins across two or three related tables. Use aggregation with group by and having. Include subqueries in variable classes. Practice examples. Retrieve top selling products using group by. Find customer with orders using having. Use inner join to connection orders and customers. Next a select inside where from dynamic filters. Thanks everyone.